A drone carrying explosives targeted the residence of Iraq's leader in the capital Baghdad on Sunday, according to the country's military, in what is being called an attempted assassination. Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi announced he and his entourage were safe in a national address shortly after the attack.
In the name of God the Merciful, to my family and people everywhere in the great Iraq, to all those who worried on this night, my house was targeted by a cowardly attack. Thank God me and those who work with me are in good health. I call on everyone for peaceful dialogue for Iraq and for Iraq's future.
Al-Kadhimi's residence is located in Baghdad's fortified Green Zone, which houses government buildings and foreign embassies. Two government officials said Al-Kadhimi's residence had been hit by at least one explosion, while several security sources said some of his personnel were injured. No group has immediately claimed responsibility for the attack. Supporters of heavily armed groups aligned with neighboring Iran have staged demonstrations in the Green Zone in recent weeks. They have been protesting against the results of a general election last month, which had dealt a blow to their parliamentary power.
Japan's Panasonic on Thursday raised its full-year operating profit outlook by 12% to $3.25 billion. It was helped by a share valuation gain and increased sales of automotive batteries and factory automation equipment. In the 3 months to September the 30th, Panasonic posted a profit of $851.6 million. The Japanese company reassessed its 20% stake in Blue Yonder after it bought the rest of the US software company for $7.1 billion in September. Panasonic last year sold its stake in Tesla, according to financial filings, to help fund that deal. Blue Yonder uses machine learning to help companies manage their supply chains by connecting factories to warehouses and retailers.
Elon Musk said he would sell 10% of his stock in Tesla if his Twitter followers voted him to. Musk, Tesla's chief executive, created a poll on his account Saturday where he has more than 60 million followers and said he would abide by the results. According to Reuters calculations, selling 10% of his Tesla stock would amount close to $21 billion based on Friday's Nasdaq closing. The world's richest person had previously said he could face what he called a massive tax bill this year, as he has to exercise a large number of stock options coming due 2022. On Twitter, he claimed he does not take a cash salary and that the only way he could personally pay taxes was to sell stock. Musk had previously criticized a proposed billionaires tax by US House Democrats, who have argued that unrealized gains were a means of tax avoidance. The tax would affect 700 billionaires, as well as impose taxes for long-term capital gains on tradable assets, whether or not they've been sold. Musk's poll received almost 2 million responses in 7 hours, with 55% of respondents voting in favor of Musk selling the shares. The poll is expected to close Sunday afternoon.
A dinosaur voiced by Jack Black urges leaders to take action on the climate crisis. The United Nations Development Programme (UNDP) has launched a new short film voiced by global celebrities that put a spotlight on the climate crisis, titled "Don't Choose Extinction." The video sees a talking dinosaur interpreted by Jack Black, urging global leaders at the United Nations headquarters to take action. Inside the iconic General Assembly Hall, a space rendered famous for its history-making speeches, the dinosaur tells an audience of shocked diplomats that it's time for making changes to address the climate crisis. At least we had an asteroid. What's your excuse?
Cool. Okay. Listen up, people. I know a thing or two about extinction. And let me tell you, and you'd kind of think this would be obvious, going extinct is a bad thing. And driving yourselves extinct? In 70 million years, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. At least we had an asteroid. What's your excuse? You're headed for a climate disaster, and yet every year governments spend hundreds of billions of public funds on fossil fuel subsidies. Imagine if we had spent hundreds of billions per year subsidizing giant meteors. That's what you're doing right now. Think of all the other things you could do with that money. Around the world, people are living in poverty. Don't you think helping them would make more sense than, I don't know, Paying for the demise of your entire species?
The Don't Choose Extinction film shines a spotlight on fossil fuel subsidies. The UNDP's Don't Choose Extinction campaign and a video aim to shine spotlight on fossil fuels, the subsidizes, and how they are cancelling out significant progress towards ending climate change and are driving inequality of benefiting the rich. The film, which is the first ever to be made inside the UN General Assemblies using CGI, shows the dinosaur highlight how financial support for fossil fuels through subsidies taxpayers' money that helps keep the cost of coal and gas low for consumers is irrational and illogical in the face of changing climate.